All right, welcome back to another episode of Cameo Podcast. Once again at Redbeard, late at night. Because my schedule's getting busier and busier. This is going to be a regular episode, or going back to what I used to do. The civic election's over, had some shakeups, and now I get back to what I normally do: is chat with people around town who I think are interesting. Actually met Shannon and Ainslie, my guest, this evening. A couple months ago when I was interviewing Arjun Singh, she came up and gave him a business card, and I imagine invited him to do what we're going to do at the same time because she wants to learn about me or whatever I'm about, I guess. So Shannon, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Shannon, and I'm just actually getting to meet you. This is the first time we've sat down face to face. That quick interaction with the Arjun was seconds long. And I'm just really curious about what you're doing. I've been following along with your podcasts. You've been covering all of the electorates, and so I have some follow-up questions about that. And okay. I'm also curious to know what your next projects are looking like. And basically the first thing I wanted to ask is I was curious to know what your connection to Kamloops is.
Oh, so you're flipping the interview on me.
We can take turns.
Okay. My connection with Kamloops is it was the only place with a school that took my degree, my diploma, credit for credit. So I came from Ontario, Algonquin College, and did adventure guiding for 2 years, and that feeds into TRU's tourism program. So it was the only place that would allow me to complete a degree in 4 years, which was a promise to my parents because I picked my schooling at 17 with no real plans.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Totally. I got a kid that I'm chatting with here in town that I'm hopefully going to have on the podcast who's in a similar position as me at 17. So we'll see if that comes through.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic. I mean, remember everybody asking you when you were growing up, what do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, really.
Yeah, so I just did what I wanted to do, which was whitewater kayak and be a dirtbag. So I did that for a few years until the business bug caught me. So I always wanted to get into media. Even when I was whitewater kayaking, I was making movies and shooting photos and selling that to rafters and whatnot, living the dirtbag kayak boater life. But that doesn't pay the bills when you have bigger goals than just living in the back of a truck. So.
That was I was really curious to know is when your love for media came into being. So it was always a part of you?
I followed YouTube since inception, right? So there's a video on there from 8 years ago of me and my friends lip syncing Backstreet Boys. So I've had so many YouTube channels that I've deleted because I'm very conscious of how I put media out, even though some people might think I'm not. So I've been online for a long time. It wasn't until grade 10, though, that I got my first video camera, and I basically did every single school project I could making videos versus writing reports.
Wow. So it's just how you were born. That's really cool. And then how are you combining? I've heard you talk before about podcasting as a form of media and why you prefer that one. Or what's good about it?
I prefer podcasting because, I got two hands that can be doing something else. I got 2 ears that are doing nothing at all. I just put my, headphones on and away I go, right? If I'm putting my daughter down to sleep, I can have my headphones in. She can go to sleep, right? Or if I'm running, I can listen to music or while I'm driving, right? It's very much a medium that doesn't slow you down, right? And I need to always have something running through my brain. My wife hates that I always need noise, so now that we got a little one, I'm banned from having the YouTube on the TV all the time, or I'm not allowed to turn it on till the baby's gone out of bed. So that means from 6 a.m. when I wake up to 7:30 at night, no YouTube. It sucks, but I'm getting used to it.
Would you say you're addicted to media? Because I feel like I am. But people are saying this is a bad thing, but I don't know if it is.
I'm addicted to my phone, absolutely. My wife hates it because I'm always on it. But
It's work, and it's your passion.
To me, yeah, it's my work and passion. Her flip side is like, okay, you got a baby, take care of the baby, right? Be with your kid, right? For me, it's like, oh, I've got a new little idea that I could like do right then, right now, and grab a little bit more attention, right? Because it's a game of clicks, eyeballs, views, whatever it be. I don't care about it, but I do care about it. It's a fun game to me. It's just, I don't know, it's stupid, but like I'm good at it, and it amuses me, so I do it. So I'm definitely addicted to my phone. I'm definitely addicted to media. I'm just really good at parsing media and like having a wide net and seeing what's relevant and then putting it together, and making the right guesses of what's going to trend and what's not. It's a fun game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's a different way. See, so for anybody who's listening, I just do a community blog, and I do a trades column for Kamloops Matters. My community blog is like yours. I grab things that are interesting, but it's in a written format.
Yeah.
And it is fun to watch the stats. I'm not good at it yet. I'm really new. But it's also really interesting to try to get a look, to stand in the shoes of somebody who's doing a whole different job and a whole different life. And I personally love that aspect of it.
Yeah. Like you're about talking trades, right? Like that's your column. I'm curious, did they approach you? Did you approach them?
Oh, that's funny. They approached me after seeing my personal blog where I had done a series on women in trades.
Yeah, because that's what I thought it was originally. It was all about ladies in the trades. And now you're talking to me. I'm like, okay, so at some point it expanded.
But yeah, and oddly, back to Redbeard. So Teresa Varenka, she's, I think, the head editor.
Yep, she's the editor.
Yeah, at Kamloops Matters, and she just contacted me, and we sat right over there at that table at Redbeard, and we had tea, and we just jumped in, and she hasn't had to change much. I am kind of an English person. I love grammar, all of that, but she comes up with some good catch lines and some good titles, and it basically catches anything that's going to be offensive or is totally in the wrong direction.
So she's going to edit whatever you write here, and like, what if she decides they don't want my name on Kamloops Matters?
They will.
That is a total real possibility. Because like,
I don't think so.
I found an exploit of their classified system this week.
Oh yeah.
Where the formatting of their classifieds mimics an article.
Oh.
So you could basically use their classified system, write yourself an article, share it on Facebook, which I did. People then think I'm on Kamloops Matters. Really, it's just a classified, but it doesn't look formatted like a classified. It looks like a Kamloops Matters article, and then I can screenshot it and be like, oh, look, I'm on Kamloops Matters, which was a big joke to me, but hilarious because their formatting's bad. And then they banned my account, and away I went.
Oh, man.
Teresa, I've had a few run-ins with Teresa.
Is it lighthearted at least?
Yeah, I think so. Like, It's just, having fun.
Mm-hmm.
When they came to town, right, I reached out to one of the reporters, go, hey, are you willing to chat with me? And then he got back to me, and I was all, like, super civil, and then I just said, like, you know what, screw it. I was having a bad day, and I just came undone. And then I got an email from Teresa saying, hey, please don't talk with our reporters. So I love that email.
I think that it should be fun, though. Cool. I mean, there should be a safety net between all of us.
Totally.
Where we can bounce things off of each other.
Well, I noticed that they don't give you an account. They post for you.
Yep.
Yeah, so I do my research. Yeah, like I said, this is stuff that I'm good at. So, but you expanded to talking trades. And now, when I said I'm good at, like, parsing information, one of my little things I like is, like, do you know the Taste Kamloops article?
Yes, I am familiar with that, yeah.
Yeah, so I found him when he had, like, 40 followers on Instagram.
Oh, and you boosted him up, yeah?
I don't think I helped him boost him up.
No.
I reached out to him and wanted to record a podcast with him, and then he's at a couple hundred now, and now he's got his article with Kamloops Matters, right? So It's like one of those things just like, ooh, I knew you were going to go somewhere.
You saw that was coming.
Yeah, I saw the potential, right? And that's what they're looking for, right? They're looking for the pop culture, kind of fun, lighthearted reads.
That is what they're looking for, and that is so interesting because there's a guy at work who has all these, he loves food, and he has all these weird food rules, and he's funny, and I was begging him, can you just apply to be a food blogger? And then 2 months later, this guy came in and became the food blogger, but it was...
Well, he did one on Jamaican Kitchen, and I was chatting with... I
read that one.
With Bentley, and it's very well read, apparently. Like, people love reading about food, and... there really was no one taking that space, right? That online real estate, right?
Yeah.
With the exception of, there's Reader's Choice, right? But not in, such a defined way, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But anyways, flipping back to me asking you questions, because this is a strange format to me. It's normally it's a conversation, but, this whole, vice versa, flipping interview thing is totally new to me. You come from horses, that's your background. You got that little country twang to your voice. Is that correct? No?
Okay. Yes, I do have experience with horses, but you're not the first person who said I have a twang, and that's the funniest thing to me because obviously I do.
Yeah,
but
you do.
I just grew up like this. And I don't hear it.
You're from Kamloops.
I'm from the Okanagan.
You're from the Okanagan. Okay, so you are from BC.
Yes.
Right?
But people, when I travel, think I'm from the East Coast, or they don't know that I'm from here.
You don't sound like you're from the East Coast.
Okay.
You do sound Midwest, right?
Wow.
I'm from Ontario, right? And so my wife goes oh, your dad has a very Canadian accent.
Okay.
And now I'm starting to hear it, and she says I have a Canadian accent, whatever that is, the stereotypical Canadian accent, right? But
interesting.
It sounds like you do have a twang, which I think is interesting about audio, right? Is because you can hear the inflection someone says and read. You have to write that I have an accent if that's what you want to share, right? We can let the listeners determine if you have a twang or not.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But she's snapping for a beer right now.
Sorry, I'm just bringing a beer over here.
Yeah, no worries. Beauty
just
of
trying
red
to tone
color.
down my twang.
Not red color, red beard. Hey, that's fine. And so,
That's funny. Okay, so, and then you're from Ontario, so when you came to BC, did you notice a difference?
Absolutely, yeah. Like in talking about people's accents now,
yeah,
or just
accents, because I used to, where I come from actually is forestry industry, and I did tree planting for years and years, and then I ran tree planting stuff, but these planters came from Ontario, and we could tell right away you're from Ontario.
No, there's definitely a difference in how people speak. Even the Ottawa Valley, which I lived in, has an actual dialect.
Oh yeah.
That's actually recorded by a university professor as having their own accent dialect that's somehow related to, I don't know, somewhere weird, right? This little 50-kilometer pocket is the only place in the world you can get this dialect. So yeah, no, totally. It's just there's certain BC boys, right, that just come on in with their belt buckles and their hats, right, and you're just yeah, okay, you sound the way I would expect you, right, which is totally fine.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's just super interesting, right, and and other people have different voices, obviously, right, but that's the beauty of podcasting and whatever it be, is you get to capture someone the way they sound and how they want to sound.
Yeah, this is interesting hearing what you say about sound. It's its own topic. It's a huge topic.
It's way more intimate, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like the future of the phone too, right? The next evolution of the phone is where does OK Google and Siri go, right? Siri, please order me, my groceries for the week, and it gets refilled and your fridge gets filled up, right? Or you talk to your fridge and your fridge does that, right? Voice is really the next platform because we're getting busier, which is dumb because we have all this technology to help make things easier, but
yeah.
Anyways, I can talk all the time, but yeah, it's hard for me to kind of keep ideas flowing of what I want to like ask you when we like do this weird flip flop. Like this has got me off my normal game if I ever have any game. But I was curious about your domain. It's kamoops.site. Why did you pick .site as domain?
Lack of experience.
Okay. Yeah, I always thought it was strange. Like, why wasn't like kamoops.coffee or, I guess.
Something cool?
Well, yeah, I would have been cool. I don't know if domains actually matter anymore. Because it's all about who you can reach and how you get people to read or whatever it be, right? But I think off the top of my head, you work in fencing.
That's right. Yeah, so I'm working for Right Way Fencing.
Yep, on the reserve there.
That's right.
See?
And
I'm good at parsing information.
Yeah, wow. I'm the only girl down there, and I haul pipe around. And it's not my favorite thing in the world, but it's a great team, and it's a happy place to be.
So is fencing like an actual trade job, or did you get the job and they taught you the trade?
Yeah, that's more like it.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
So what drew you to the whole talking with women in trades? Like, have you spoken with Alison Klee?
Oh, not yet, but I was going for a walk with CBC Shelley Joyce the other day, and she was telling me that Alison Klee was an amazing young woman. She's really excited to see where Alison's headed. Yeah,
I like you said, I chatted with a lot of them on the election candidates, and it was funny. She said she asked the guidance counselor for info on becoming an esthetician, and they gave her an electrician brochure. And that's how she became an electrician, which is the most ridiculous, stupid, harebrained way to, pick your career.
That's
but
fantastic. So do you have a podcast with her?
Yeah, there's a podcast episode with her. I got podcast episodes with all of the civic election candidates, with the exception of Kathy Sinclair said no because she was too busy.
Yep.
But I've chatted with her in the past. Ray Dollywall. But he was interested. Who else? Jimmy Johal actually wanted to come on my podcast way back to announce his candidacy, but that's when I just started at KTW, and that would have been putting me in conflict with KTW because civic election news, blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. There was 6 in total that I didn't get.
There were about 6 of
Gerald
yours that
Watson.
I listened to because I didn't have any knowledge of who they were.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of really neat women on there.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of really neat women. I'm really excited to see what Sadie Hunter and Dale Bass bring to the city council.
There you go. I think I heard those.
Yeah.
And there are a couple more. Caroline Thompson or something?
I never recorded Caroline King.
One.
She wanted to record one, but it just didn't work out for timing. Because when I emailed them, I was like, hey, the only limitation is really my time, right? Because I got to make ends meet. I can't remember the last person I wasn't able to record with. This is going to bug me now. I'm just going through my head or whatever it be. But I met with a lot of them, right? And, Corley Delwo I met with as well.
That's another one I listened to. She was great.
Yeah, she's interesting.
Yeah.
Aren't in the right place. They all have their different reasons for running or whatever it be, right? But, it's just exciting to see that many people throw their hat in the ring and kind of see what happens next.
And then what did you think about the poor voter turnout?
Oh, it's abysmal, but, better than the by-election, right? The slate itself seems pretty decent. It seems pretty even. I'm happy with the results. I have no qualms with it. Democracy did what democracy did. Mm-hmm. But I really hoped to see a larger young person turnout, but I don't think that happens. But
they're talking about online polling?
No, there's talks of it, but they did that in my hometown.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going on right now, actually. So it actually went down, and they had to extend it by an hour. So there's obviously issues with online polling, right?
Oh.
And as someone who's techie or whatever it be, right? I don't know if online's really as safe as I think it could be, right? I'm not a hacker by any means. I just play with stuff and
you find loopholes.
And I find loopholes, right?
Yeah.
There was a time on Instagram I was able to view people's protected Instagrams.
Yep.
and I don't know how I found it. I just mess around with things in 10,000 different ways until something pops out and away you go. But anyways, that's me. I don't know. How do I flip this? Like this, I'm really struggling with this sort of thing. But hey, that's part of the conversation. That is. What are you drinking? What beer are you drinking? Do you know?
A session ale?
A session ale.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really light.
Yeah, so it's like a light
but it's got
IPA.
a bitter after. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, so I used to be a drinker. I used to drink a lot of craft beers, and that's how I pretended I wasn't alcoholic. But it is what it is.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah, when you start drinking Sneaky Weasel at $1.40 a can, right?
Yeah.
That was my daily drinker at one
Yeah,
point.
because it makes you a connoisseur now.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like an art form. You're not an alcoholic, you're an artist.
Yeah, exactly. And I worked at a liquor store, so it was really easy to bring something home. But so what's the next steps of the blog? Where do you want to see it go? What have you learned from it, or what challenges have you had with starting a blog?
Okay, so actually what's happening right now with the blog and the articles is that this crossover effect has happened, where before I had to go out and find stuff. Now it's happening that I'm getting more people contacting me, like you said, than I have time for or space for, because Kamloops Matters only publishes the trades column once a week.
Okay.
So things are starting to pile up, which is great, but
Totally.
It's busy. I'm trying to just learn and improve and try different things. A lot of it started with more of an interview style thing.
Yep.
And I'm getting more creative and adding more creative writing. So it's just, it's a hobby at this point. But I really, really do enjoy meeting people and hearing their stories and seeing their point of view. Like, it really excites me.
Mm-hmm.
So it fires me up, so I know I'm on the right track. I don't know where exactly it's going when, but
Yeah.
I'm eager after my 8.5 hours at work. I can't wait to get and open up these emails and start working on the next project. So,
what's your turnaround on a story typically like? Like, what's the process?
Oh, yeah, okay. So we have to do the meet, the connection, yes, let's do this story, and we both think it's valuable. And then with people, I start with a simple questionnaire, so they just can let go as much information as they want. I like to start easy with just your stats, your name, where you're born, and then ask deeper questions, and then give them the opportunity to answer what they want, add what they want, add a question. Like, it's a very, very team.
So you always do it
thing.
in person?
No, a lot of it's on the phone, some of it's in person, and a lot of it's just via email because everybody's busy.
Totally.
Email's fantastic that way because you can get to it when you can get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited, but I'm learning from a lot of people. I've learned that there are a lot of really, really good stories that people don't want to tell because of their poor grammar, be it verbal or written.
Yeah.
They feel ashamed, they feel embarrassed, and they don't want to share their story because of their education level, and that was a big one for me. I'm like, whoa. So I say right away, don't worry about your grammar. That's not the point of why we're doing this.
Totally, yeah. I'm a big believer of just post it, don't care about the content. If people like it, they're going to respond to it regardless. If you add an extra K, I accidentally published my own name wrong
Nice.
just last week, and I don't care about that because it's not going to turn people away.
Mm-hmm.
If they're interested in the story, they're going to be interested all the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I notice when there's mistakes in the newspaper and online? Absolutely.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's at that point it's like a scavenger hunt, right?
I want to tread on this next issue lightly, but I'm really, really interested in our local First Nations, and they have come up with some fantastic stories. And a lot of them don't have great grammar skills, and that to me, that's a really important part of who they are and where they're at and their history. So when I go in and I edit, I don't always want to edit everything because that's their voices coming out, and that's where they come from. And so that's one that makes me think. I've spent some time thinking about that.
See, that's where I don't have to worry about it, right? I just make sure the audio levels are decent, right?
Yeah.
But, from what I've seen, right, like, because Chris Bose is obviously, like, an awesome guy to reach out to since he just ran for the city council as an Indigenous person. Have you come across Fashion Speaks at all? Have you heard of them?
No, Fashion Speaks?
Fashion Speaks.
Oh, you're giving me so many great things to look up.
It's a collective of models who I don't know a wicked amount about them, but they do like fashion shows or fashion shoots or whatever be, and they're all of Indigenous heritage, is from my understanding. So
right.
They have a good little online presence, and they'll be pretty easy to find. And it's quite a group of people who have come together all under the banner of fashion to try and share their message. So that's two places to start.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I love this as much as you do, but our mediums are different.
Yeah, I don't have time to read as much as I should, or like even today I jumped to the comment section a little too quick, and I got a little clickbaited. Not horribly clickbaited, but yeah, I read the article afterwards. I'm like, oh, okay. They flipped the script on me a little bit, and maybe I was too quick to hit the keyboard, but reading is challenging for me to slow down and whatever be, right?
You know what's funny is when Kamloops Matters publishes something, and I get a lot of funny negative feedback, and how we're talking about gaining attention and what you said, be it in a good way or a bad way.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. I think people are talking about this. If they disagree with it, and then of course there are all those trollers who get dramatic and
totally
whatever. But I mean, honestly, it's really funny to me. And I think, to me, I take it as okay. Well, I hit a nerve. They're talking about it.
Yeah. I got people speaking about me in a negative way in the recent weeks or months, right? And yeah, it's just validation that you have some sort of ability to cause people to chatter about you, especially depending on the circles, right? But how do you turn that into really something positive? Or is that something you want on your record, right? I'm overly honest, so I have no problem eating the words, because if I dish it, I can take it, right?
Yep.
But at the same point, right? Like, I'll meet with anyone. I'll chat with anyone. My only thing is I don't speak with network marketers.
Okay.
That's the only people I'm not interested in meeting with.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good.
That's, as someone who's trying to start a business, it's like, no, I don't support that business practice. But
yeah, they don't often take no the first time either.
I haven't had anyone be too pushy around me. I shut them down pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good skill to have.
It is and it isn't, right? It gets me in trouble, but I learn from it. So I just do things till I get in trouble. It's like, that's how this game works, right?
That's how you find the boundary, is when you're standing on it with the toe
Totally.
over it. Yeah,
totally, right? I'd rather push the boundary and see what reactions I can get to then go back and try again, right? You get banned here and there, or who cares, right? So, but I'm not nefarious, right? Like it's all in good spirits usually. So,
right. Well, I just wanted to thank you for letting me talk about my blog, and I'm all about this community, and I want to hear everybody's stories, and it's fun, and I'll make as much time as possible, just like you are.
Perfect. Yeah. Like, have you gone through all your little your questionnaire stories, like, in your head? Like, have I hit all the topics?
Well, yeah, just what the future is for you and for Kamloops, and I think that you covered that with me on Kamloops Creative.
Oh, that's kind of a way. Like,
yeah.
it's really just about exposure, right? Like, how do you bring exposure to people?
Yeah.
It's no different than why you write a blog. It's how do you bring exposure to people, right? It's just utilizing the talents that I have to help other people get exposure, because this digital economy we're in, right? I want to stay connected through the community through, a medium that I'm used to and grew up with, which is the internet since third grade.
Right?
Yep. Third grade, I was on the World Wide Web, right? Back in the day of Netscape, right? So, if I can encourage more people to vlog, make blogs, podcasts, whatever be, right? Utilize, really powerful tool that we have, right, I can then consume it at home, right? And that's what I liked about Kamloops Matters when they came to town, is like, okay, this is what I was hoping the newspaper would do more of, right? You know, but the newspaper I support as well, because I like a physical copy of the newspaper too, right? So it's as someone who plays in all pools and all aspects, it's interesting to see what everyone's doing. Because I've talked with radio, I've talked with TV, I've talked with newspapers.
But see, this podcast is cool because you turn it on and, like you said, your hands free. You can walk around in the morning, you can do your laundry, you can do whatever you're doing, and you're not getting something that's from a huge broadcasting giant. You're getting local stuff. That's the real deal.
Totally, right?
Yeah.
You know, when I voted at the advanced polls, I ran out and I ran into a reporter for CFJCTV, you know, and I said maybe 5 sentences. They use, you know, 1.5 of them, right?
Yep.
You know, it's on the internet, there really isn't any limits of how much you can put out there, right? With the exception of you, where they say, okay, you have 1 article a week.
Yep.
Right? So how many articles do you currently have written?
Oh, I think I'm just 3, but I have a pile of them that are just waiting to drop, and I'm thinking, okay, now do I tell you, yeah, let's do this, and then you'll see your article in 7 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me.
Right.
Like, if it gets up, it gets up, right? In the end, I got a podcast recorded of you with the intention of it. It's like, okay, sweet. So, but actually, Kamloops BC Now is doing an In Focus on me on Wednesday. That'll be my second one.
Good.
So I've already gotten one, and they forgot that I did one, and they approached me again.
Oh.
So that's funny. That's what happens when you have media that's not local, because they're out of Kelowna right now.
Right.
They don't have anyone local in town anymore, so they're slightly out of touch with what's going on in Kamloops, but they still don't want to give up their market share to Kamloops Matters or Kamloops This Week or whoever it is, right? So it's, it's interesting. But I saw you pop on Twitter the other day. Are you a Twitter user?
Yeah, from time to time.
From time to time. How do you use it in terms of Kamloops? Or do you...
I don't. I just put silly things out there. I'm starting to hashtag first world problems when I come across them. When people complain about stupid things, or I find myself complaining about stupid, spoiled brat kind of ideas, and then I don't.
So that's just you yelling into the void.
I'm just having fun.
So outside of writing the blog, what other passions do you have? Or is this your passion? Because I read somewhere that you're an aspiring writer. Is this the type of writing you want to do?
Oh, I have a young adult book that's published. It's called Behind the Curtain, and you can find it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Chapters Indigo.
Okay, cool.
But it's like a nook book, so it's all It's an e-book, and it was published by Blue Swan Publishing out of the States. And I have another book that I really want to get published. That means a lot to me, and it's about a little boy with fetal alcohol syndrome that I kind of helped raise, and he was raised with my daughter. So I'm looking for a home for that.
Did you go to, what was it, Words Alive, the Writers Festival over the weekend?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Where was I? I was out at the Dunes. It was gorgeous.
Okay. I got married at the Dunes, actually. I actually have a podcast with Alex McGilvery as well, another local author. That's sitting on my hard drive right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I recorded that like right before I started recording all the civic election stuff. So I've got actually like 5 recorded podcasts sitting just to be waiting to be released. One of them I'm not allowed to release because it gets a little too personal, and they kind of...
Oh, crap. Personal's good.
Yeah. Well, it was a deeper topic, right? It was challenging, right? Like, you know, talking about survival sex and, you know, growing up in addiction to, you know, it was timely, but, you know, they realized maybe they didn't want their name associated with that because they finally overcame that, and they didn't want maybe people to look down on them, whatever it be, and, you know, it's a shame. So we might re-record that one under anonymous terms. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, actually I recorded that one out on the picnic table where I recorded with Arjun as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share, Shannon?
No, I just want to give a little applaud to Mitch. What's his last name again?
Mitch Forgy.
Oh, yeah. I just call him Redbeard Mitch.
Redbeard was his previous partner, who was tall and actually had a red beard.
Oh, I didn't even know.
And then he sold his shares to Mitch and moved to the islands.
Oh, I see.
And then Mitch has Mustache and Go going to be opening up next door. Have you seen that yet?
Cross.
No, like right next door, like the attached building, the old Stone and Company building.
Oh, wow, cool.
So I think ARPA bought it or something. I don't know. Yeah, I think ARPA did. But so Redbeard itself is going to be like a full-time cafe, kind of cool, swanky beer and food, whatever be, because they don't serve coffee after 5.
Right.
You can only
Yep.
get an Americano. But then you'll have the more traditional coffee shop next door, which will be your Mustache and Go, where you can, always get a coffee. And, it's definitely a different ambiance in here than it once was when I used to do late nights here working on projects with business partners. So, it's cool. I've seen this place grow from like 2014 to 2018. A lot has changed.
It's just so good for the North Shore. I mean, applause.
Yeah. Do you live on the North Shore as well?
Yeah, I live, in Brocklehurst.
Yeah, I'm Brock as well.
Yep, I like Brock. It's great.
So, Shannon, where can people find you?
Oh, what is it? It's KamlooPsCoffeeTalk.com. That's what it is.
KamlooPsCoffeeTalk.com.
Yeah,
Okay.
look me up.
Or Shannon Ainsley at kamloops.site, I believe is your email.
Yes.
Yeah.
I write it out so many times.
And then there's you can also check out her column, Talking Trades, on Kamloops Matters. I saw the one with Tracy Ratliff.
What a neat lady. Did you hook up with her yet? Did you connect with her?
I'm friends with one of her friends, Michael.
Okay.
Michael Paul Wright, who does a vlog.
Oh, she would love to do this with you.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people I've been meaning to get to, and yeah, she's one. I need to actually write them out. I actually found this lady who writes poetry, and as far as I'm aware, has 4 people in Kamloops who know that she writes poetry, and she's a full-time poet. And she actually has a pretty strong Instagram following, and I was chatting with her on the phone the other day when I found her. Now it's just figuring out time to meet and record, which, unfortunately is going to be late at night or whatever it be. But I also I was trying to just do once a week. I'm kind of jealous that you're once a week and that schedule, right? Because
less pressure.
I don't really have a limit to what I can do outside of my time, right? So the more content I can produce, the easier it is to translate this into something bigger in the future. I don't know, but anyways, thank you for meeting with me this evening. I'm glad it worked out. Let me know if I can help any further on anything, and any last words you want to share?
No, just thank you very much. This was fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks once again for tuning in to the Cameo podcast. If I could please ask for you to subscribe, that'd be cool. But if you don't want to, that's cool too. I'll keep making them until you do. Cheers. Have a great day.